Hi friend, welcome back to the channel where we focus less on trying and more on being the best version of ourselves. If you're new, welcome. I'm Aisha. On this channel we talk about conscious manifestation, metaphysics, basically how to decide to get the things you want. If you're interested in one-on-one help with that, everything you need to know is in the description box below. Let's get started. Today's video was inspired by multiple comments, but one in specific tipped me over the edge. A while ago, I said I was gonna chill out on the SP content because I felt like a lot of the community was really missing the plot, really missing that foundation of spirituality, manifestation, understanding how reality creation actually works. And when you have such a single-minded focus on one thing, especially when it comes to an SP, it can kind of deter you from your overall journey as a manifester and growing in your capabilities, your faith in yourself, your belief in the law, and it can really derail you if you're losing your focus and putting all of your intention, all of your attention on a specific person, and especially if that experience is not one that is necessarily enjoyable for you. I know that this is probably #1 spoken about topic in this community, and I see now that because I speak about the topics that I do, I'm always gonna get questions about this. I'm always gonna have people who wanna coach with me, and that is their desire. And of course, I welcome everyone. If you want help manifesting your SP, I will do that. The same as if you want help manifesting a new job or a new car or health. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not judging your desires. Like I said, the reason I took a step away is because I know that it's very flashy. I know that it's what everyone wants to hear about. And sometimes that instant gratification of me just telling you, of course you can get your SP, this is how you do it, kind of leaves you on shaky waters if that foundation is not already there. I wanted to make sure that everybody is on the same page and on the same understanding so that you can better see why I approach each topic in the way that I do. I've held firmly on this viewpoint about speaking on this topic literally since the beginning. You can see that my first video on this channel that had anything to do with SP was a rant, and it was pretty much along similar lines. But again, I still get comments about it, I still get asked about it, which is why this comment in particular inspired today's video. I wanted people to know that of course you can manifest your SP just like you can manifest anything else that you want, but sometimes people go straight to the, oh, I get to have what I want, and have not truly asked themselves if it's actually what they want, or if there is a deeper desire that actually has nothing to do with the person, has a lot more to do with you. Now that I feel like I have given you a well-rounded understanding of how manifestation works, what your role is as a conscious creator in your reality, how to know who you are, how to make firm decisions, how to release some of that heavy-handed approach and go for more of a light touch instead, I feel like we can have a deeper, more informed, and more helpful conversation about this topic. I still hold firm on all my previous videos about SP. Literally pick one, take your pick. All of them will help you, just like all of the other videos on my channel that have nothing to do with SP and just our general manifestation advice will also help you to do these things. I'm probably not gonna say something that's some big revelation. It's going to be very similar to what I tell you to do all the time, but I am going to specifically tailor my advice to this because I know SPs come with a lot of stories. Excuse me, if you're new, like I said, this is literally the most popular topic in the manifestation community. I'm sure you know what a SP is, but if you don't, it's just a specific person. It does not have to be a romantic interest, but in today's video, I am speaking specifically about a romantic interest, especially somebody that you have history with, whether you just know this person, you've dated this person before, you're in close proximity to them, and you've had some kind of relationship with them that has turned tumultuous, you'd like to turn it the other way around. But a specific person can be anybody, literally any specific person. It could be a friend, it could be a family member, it could be a boss, it could be a sibling, it could be a child, it could be a partner. So today we are speaking about partners. So some things are just too long to answer in a comment, so I decided that I would make a full video on this because a lot of people have similar questions and I feel like a lot of people are in a similar place. And I want people, even if they come to this channel specifically seeking SP advice, to be able to get that, but also to get the entire picture so they're able to have a more fulfilling, holistic, well-rounded experience with manifestation and not feel like their entire life is riding on them getting this person. But I thought this one pretty well encompassed a lot of the concerns that I was seeing. So we're gonna use this comment for today. So she says, I would truly appreciate your advice. I went through major mental health issues that basically ruined my friendships and relationship with my SP. I truly feel so guilty for how I acted and had hurt him. I apologized and we made up at a party. Now I've moved countries and he has a 3P in his life. I'm currently working on my self-concept and believing I'm worthy of love and that I'm truly beautiful. I've been manifesting a fresh start with him because it is so unusual for me to even want an ex talking stage back. It's making me think maybe he's my soulmate, but at the same time, I didn't vibe too much with him. The problem is I'm struggling to move on and it's confusing me so much. Our relationship was meh. I had trouble believing that he was genuine because he was more talk than action, but that could have been because I didn't believe I was worthy of hearing those things. I'm just so confused. Every time a memory of the past pops up, I feel so bad and try to change it. Should I even be manifesting a new version of him? Okay, first of all, thank you for your comment. Thank you for allowing us to share and learn from your situation, and I think this is going to be really insightful for a lot of people. So what I want to hone in on to begin with is the last question that she asked. Should I even be manifesting a new version of him? I'm gonna tell you right off the bat, that's not my decision to make. It's simply not my decision to make. Do you want to manifest a new version of your SP? If the answer is yes, okay. If the answer is no, okay. There's nothing wrong with choosing to give up, choosing a new SP, choosing to take a break and focus on yourself. There's nothing wrong with any decision you make, but I cannot make that decision for you. You have to make that decision for yourself. Now, if you're really asking me, is it possible to manifest a new version of him and putting it in coded language like, oh, do you think I should just give up? Like, is it even worth it? So that you can just be free of it. Maybe that's an indication of whether or not you really want to in the first place, but the answer to that question would be yes, you can manifest a new version of him. Just like every specific person in your life, there are infinite versions of them. And just like every single one of you, there are also infinite versions of you because there are infinite versions of reality. So the question about whether or not it's possible to manifest your SP is a definite yes. Hands down, anybody who tells you that you can't or it's wrong or you shouldn't, take that advice if you want to, but I'm telling you it's not the ultimate truth. I'm gonna tell you right now, you can, you should if you want to, and there's nothing wrong with it. You shouldn't feel bad for wanting to be in a loving relationship. You are no less worthy of having a loving partner or being in a stable, healthy, committed relationship as any other person, whether or not they consciously manifested the person that they're with. And if you've had a situation with a person in the past and things have not necessarily turned out how you wanted them to, you are well within your right to revise that situation, to manifest a new version of them, and to have the experience that you want. Whether or not that is a worthwhile experience for you is up to you to decide. But if you're having trouble making that decision, wondering like, should I just give up? First of all, let me tell you something from personal experience, multiple times when I have given up on manifesting a specific person, the person came anyway. And more often than not, I realize that it's because of that state of not being so desperate, not needing somebody to be there, not needing something to happen, not insisting on any certain outcome that allowed that person to come in a lot more easily. When you're just like, you know what, whatever. I don't care that much anymore. But the thing about it is you can always send somebody on their way with love and leave the door open. Like, if this is the person for me, if this is in my highest good, if this situation is going to bring me the most amount of fulfillment, I truly believe that whatever needs to happen in order for that situation to unfold will happen. And there is nothing that needs to be done on my part to facilitate that. I just get to exist. I just get to love myself. I just get to love life and enjoy and be in the state that I enjoy being in. Be my own fulfillment and let people come add to my story and not become my whole entire story. Being in that state is ironically a lot better state to manifest an SP than being in that state of robotically affirming for them all day because you're scared that if you stop, they won't show up, constantly wavering and being scared and spiraling, wondering what they're doing, checking the 3D, worrying about a third party, constantly being an emotional wreck over somebody because of the current circumstances. Here's my thing when it comes to SPs that is very similar to my stance on robotic affirmations. I do not promote emotional distress, okay? Let me say it again for the people in the back. I do not promote emotional distress. If you are manifesting anything in any way that makes you feel worse than before you started, that is causing you to spiral, that is causing you to be in a painful mental or emotional state, conscious creation is becoming a burden for you because of what it is you're manifesting, then I would advise you take a step back and either take a break from consciously manifesting, or at the very least, reevaluate your approach. Because in no way, shape, or form are you called to suffer to get the things that you want. This is not the effort Olympics. It's not, well, I'm just gonna push through because I know that if I affirm this many times, then it's gonna happen and then everything's gonna be okay. If you are not able to emotionally regulate yourself and you have not fully fleshed out that new story, and you do not fully see that person as a new version of themselves, new things will pop up to trigger you, especially when you are back in contact and they are right in your face, and you will have no other way to deal with them than to try to robotically affirm your way out of it. You know how I feel about robotic affirmations. I don't care if you use them. I have used them myself. They absolutely can work, but they are not the perfect fix-all for every single situation. Sometimes you need to look at yourself and you need to do some internal inventory and some introspection about what's going on with you and why is it that you actually want the things that you want, and why is trying to get the things you want causing you emotional distress. Because I've spoken about this before. If there's anything that you are doing or thinking or a way that you are going about something that makes you feel bad, it is because you are out of alignment with the truth that the God in you knows, the truth that source knows, the truth that your higher self knows. There is no reason that you should be in that heightened level of despair over another person. Your fulfillment comes from within you. Ultimately, point blank period, that's where it begins and ends. Everything else is extra, add-on, nice to have it, very beautiful. I love toppings too, little whipped cream, thank you please. But your fulfillment cannot be solely based on another person, especially once you realize that that other person is a reflection of you. So anything that they could be doing that is causing you that emotional distress or making you feel a certain way or making you have adverse reactions to them is because they're reflecting a story within you that makes you feel bad because you are perpetuating a story that is not true. That is not the ultimate truth and not the way that God sees you. So if you have revised your story about this person, and if you feel like it would be a worthwhile, beneficial, fulfilling, feel-good experience for you to call in a new version of this person and have a new experience with them, by all means, you should absolutely do it. But you should not do it from the standpoint of, I need this person. If I don't have them, I'm gonna die. That is not how you should feel about any of your manifestations, no matter how dire the circumstances may seem, because of the state that that puts you in emotionally when you feel like your whole entire life is based on something that is outside of you and is not you. You are missing the point. Everything outside of you is a reflection of you, and if you are seeing something that you don't like, it's not your job to try to fight with the 3D and eradicate that thing from existence. It is always going to exist. That's literally the definition of existence, is to simply exist. So if it's there, it's there. But if you don't want to see it, you have to change your lens, your perspective. You have to be a version of yourself that's incompatible with that reality. That version of you is not desperate, not needy, not obsessed with checking for results, seeing what SP's doing, trying to get him to text you back. That version of you is enjoying spending their life with somebody who loves them, who's always there for them, who has a healthy, communicative relationship with them, and who does not make them feel like they have to fight for their attention, to be prioritized, or to even get a text back. So I feel like some of you are greatly missing the plot, which is why we're back discussing this today. And maybe this is a read, I mean it with all of the love in my heart, but if that man is causing you to lose your hair, if you are pulling your hair out over this man, if you cannot go about your regular daily life feeling good about what's happening for you, if this one thing is not settled, that's maybe something we need to look at internally. And is it that you need this specific person, or is it a very deep desire to feel loved and feel seen and feel safe with somebody who cares for you? Because that is a desire that is very worthwhile. It is very valid, as all desires are, but especially that. Of course you're worthy of that, and of course you could have that. So I want you to ask yourself, why does it have to be this specific person, especially if this person has hurt you to a point that has caused you extreme emotional or physical distress? Maybe what we need to do is chill out on manifestation and maybe seek help in other ways. I can't help you with that, and I can't help you make decisions for yourself, but I can tell you what's possible for you if you are willing to put in your own vote of confidence for yourself and accept the reality of you being a version of yourself that's allowed to have what you want. If you believe in a soulmate or a twin flame and you think it's this person and that is a belief that is serving you and feels good for you, then by all means, believe into it. If it's helpful, What's the harm in it? But do I think that we are limited to one option or one version of one person, one version of your story playing out? Absolutely not. Do I think that if you have your soulmate, your twin flame, and then something tragic happens, that you're doomed to a life of non-fulfillment and that there's nobody else there for you and that you can never have somebody love you to that extent ever again? Absolutely not. I don't believe that, because that is a reality that doesn't feel good for me. But I do believe that there are people who are in resonance, people who are aligned, people who are there to help each other grow and are positive catalysts for each other's experience. And I believe that you can place those people in your life intentionally. So if that is your intention, to live a happier life, to share your life and your love with someone because you see the best in them, because you see the good in them, because you choose to believe that all is well between you, and this is a person who cares for you and loves you and sees and wants the best for you, by all means, start telling yourself these stories. The method does not matter. But when it gets to this point, when you are piling method on top of method, on top of technique, on top of technique, and you are just so at your wits' end trying to throw everything into the pot to make something happen, like you're brewing up a mean stew, you're not realizing that what's in there is actually poison to your manifestation, because you are back to that state of maybe this will work, maybe this will work, maybe this will work, maybe this will work. It's like, how about you make it work? It works if you work it. So it doesn't matter if you want to fall asleep and imagine that that person is laying beside you in bed, or wake up in the morning and imagine that that person is waking up with you. If you want to go all the way to the end, which I would, especially if you have a lot of resistance to manifesting an SP, I would advise you go all the way to the end. What is your end goal with this person? Is it a life partner? Is it marriage? Is it children? Is it moving out of state somewhere with them? What is the life that you see for yourself with this person? What is your intention behind calling this person into your life? I'm not here to judge whether or not your intention is valid. I'm here to implore you to make sure that it is clear, so that you're actually getting what you want and not what you think you want or what you think you're supposed to have, or something that you're forcing because you think the outcome is going to make you feel a certain way. You feel that way before you get to the root of what it is that you want to feel, the experience that you want to have, and then you allow that person to be a conduit for allowing you to experience that through them. Something that you have already decided and determined within yourself is reflected through them to make a more enjoyable, holistic, well-rounded experience for you. One where in the end you are getting what you want. Do I think that it has to be a specific person? No. I think you can manifest new love. I think you can ask for a divine match, a divine partner, whether you call it a soulmate or a twin flame, whatever it is. You can call in that person, or you can call in your ex from 10 years ago. It really does not matter, as long as you believe yourself to be capable of changing that story. But I will tell you, especially with people you have a long history with, especially if that history was not great, you are going to have to be diligent about changing that story and allowing yourself to forgive all of the wrongdoings that you think they did to you and all of the wrongdoings that you did yourself, in order for you to come together harmoniously. Because if you're still holding grudges, if there's still something in the back of your mind like, yeah, I guess he's showing up this way now, but I remember when it was going well last time, and then 3P showed up, and then he decided he needed time for himself, and then this happened, and then that happened, and now I'm by myself, now I'm blocked, now this and that. Continuing to perpetuate those stories will leave you in that tornado of, okay, I'm gonna get him back. I know I can change him. I know that they have no free will in my reality. I can make them conform. I can do this and that. And then you get that really heavy-handed approach that makes your SP run for the hills. And then you go back into, fine, I don't care, it's fine, I don't even want them anymore. And then, of course, they come creeping back because you have lowered your excess potential so much. You have lowered the importance of needing them and feeling desperate for them, and like you're lacking them, and you're just like, I don't care, they can do whatever they want. And then they show up again, and then you go back into freak out mode because you don't want them to leave. You're triggered now that they're here because you didn't finish cleaning up that old story. Now they're here, you're running around like a chicken with your head cut off, and you don't know what to do. So that is why, from the outset, have a clear intention. No, you do not have to give up on your SP, and no, you do not have to continue to manifest an SP just to have a badge of honor, just to say that I did it. Now, if you're just very frivolous about it and it doesn't mean much to you, and it's just like, yep, duh, there he is, there's back, oh, and that one too, and oh, yeah, just because, and there's no resistance to that, there's no yucky feelings that come with that, then that's gonna be easy for you to do as well. But it's not It's not necessary. And if you feel like you've been fighting with the story for a long time and it's just too much, you don't want to deal with it, you don't want to rehash all the history, you can't seem to get over revising that story, and even if you do, you just feel like you've come out on the other end and maybe this is not what you thought it was, it's not what you thought you wanted, this is not maybe the person for you, and you would like to explore other options, you are so free to do that. And if you go and do that, explore other options and realize that, no, I think this actually was my person, I actually do want this person, you are free to go back. The options are always open, always available. You can't fuck it up, you can't go wrong. And if you do something that you think, oh man, I should have chosen the other option, you can go back and choose the other option. But you have to give yourself permission to release the ick, release the stories, release like this heavy burdening weight that you have on you of this history with your SP and what's gonna happen this time, and oh no, there's a 3P, and what does she have that I don't? The stories just run rampant. When, if you knew who you are, that's why I say we took a break on this so I could really hammer this into your head. So now you should know what's coming, you should know what my approach would be to this. If you know who you are, if you know that you are God of your reality, you are the operant power, you are in control, there is no need to go out there and manipulate this person or try to force this person to conform or say something you want them to say or be a way that you want them to be. You understand that you can just assume yourself to be the version of yourself living in the reality where they're already doing all of that without your input, without you needing to be the heavy-handed puppeteer of your life, without you needing to affirm until you literally have a headache, without you feeling like if I don't do this, this person will not love me, and I am only lovable if this person validates that for me. Your validation, your fulfillment, your assumptions, your beliefs come from in you. You don't need anybody else's permission to believe a certain thing, to call in a certain thing, to desire a certain thing, to be a certain way. It is up to you. So that's why I say I can't tell you what to do, but I can tell you what is possible if that's your choice. And the sure way to know if that's going to be a fulfilling experience for you is to imagine it. Imagine yourself being the version of yourself living in the reality where you have successfully manifested your SP. How do you feel? What is life like? How's that going for you? Does it look good? After that, think about what would life be like if I called in somebody new? What kind of new experiences could I have? What could life look like if I were to let infinite intelligence handle the orchestration of this? What would life look like if I were to meet my divine match? If I were to find somebody who already had all the things that I want, was already showing up in the ways that I wanted them to show up, and I showed up knowing that I was the version of myself that was open, ready, and accepting of this love. If I knew that I had no more stories about myself and relationships, that I know my feelings will be honored, that I will be taken care of, that I will be prioritized, I will be loved, I will be in a healthy, fulfilling relationship. I know that I'm worthy of that. I know that I could only call in that. And I know that anybody that is out of alignment with that cannot show up in my reality because they don't exist for me. Imagine that reality. What are the possibilities there? Do you feel more of a call for a fresh start overall, or do you feel more of a call for a fresh start with this person? Because things can be made new. The only possible limitations that you could have in this story are the ones that you come up with in your mind and continue to perpetuate and believe into and put your fear and your worth into. Once you realize that I am worthy outside of all things, outside of all people, outside of existence itself, I am all that is, and I am here in a human body having the experience that I prefer to have. So I can call in this, I can call in that. If I change my mind, fine. But I'm gonna make a decision about the way that I'm gonna feel, and I'm gonna choose to feel that way anyway. And if I get opposite results, if I don't see the full fruition of my manifestation, I'm going to choose to believe that I'm exactly where I need to be in order to see that through. I'm going to believe that I will always be guided, I will always be shown the way, I will always have every single opportunity to choose again, to be shown the path, to be led forward. I could never stray so far as to not be able to come back home. Once you know that, it becomes very clear, okay, what is it that I want? Or how about this? ¿Por qué no los dos? How about both? How about both? How about options? You can manifest in a new version of your SP, and regardless of if you decide to continue your relationship with them in a romantic sense, you can at least mend that relationship, heal whatever happened in the past that left you with a sour taste in your mouth. This is personally the way that I would go because I don't like leaving things on a yuck note. At the very least, if I decide that yes, I've had dealings with this person. I think that I'm ready to move on. I think that there is more for me to experience, but I'm not okay leaving this where we left it off. I want peace, I want harmony, I want all is well. So through changing my stories about myself and still choosing to see a new version of that person, even if it was not with me in a romantic sense, it just creates a whole new level of well-being between how you relate to people in partnerships and relationships in general. And then you have opened yourself up to be so much more free to go and explore new horizons, or to even allow this person to come back in later if you change your mind. It's okay to change your mind. I'm gonna tell you though, if you want a definite result, you need to be decisive, or else you're probably gonna get a lot of mishmash. You're probably gonna have a little bit of this and a little bit of that. But if you can be definite about your intention of how you want to feel, of the experience, the overarching experience that you want to have, whatever is shown to you will be good, and you will be able to flow and move through that experience in the way that aligns with you in the moment, and just choose that that's good. So I always want to tell you two very important things about manifestation in general, but specifically when you're manifesting an SP, because I know that it is so prevalent. Mental health issues that come with trying to manifest an SP because you are so overly focused. It's taking up so much of your attention that it's literally draining your life force, and your only driving force in life, your only goal is to get this person to want you, to get this person to love you. It's not hard to understand how a mindset like this and constantly being in a state like that would slowly deteriorate you from the inside out, right? Again, you should never be at that level of desperation. You should never let a person or a thing outside of you get you into that state where you feel like you are so desolate that life cannot go on without this result. Obviously, sometimes things are hard, sometimes life is hard, and it does not mean that every time somebody does something to you that makes you feel not okay, doesn't make you feel good, doesn't feel kind, that you just have to say, oh, well, it's my fault, I manifested it, so I just have to deal with it. You are allowed to stand up for yourself and your reality. You're allowed to use your words, you're allowed to set boundaries, you are allowed to tell people to get lost. You're allowed to do whatever it is you need to do, and no, it is not okay for that situation to continue to perpetuate. And if conscious manifestation is something that is exacerbating that experience for you, we need to take a little bit of a deeper look into what's going on with you internally. Like, why is your emotional guidance system blaring red alarms at you? Probably because we missed the entire self-concept piece. If we are so in a state of discontent in our own minds, right? We have to wonder, we have to ask, is it really that person? Like, obviously, yes, they contributed, but they only could if they were being that reflection of you. Doesn't make it okay, doesn't make it right, doesn't mean that you should just lay down and take that experience, but we do need to do some looking. Maybe take a little look-see at why that's happening so we can cut it at the root, and so it does not continue to grow into other areas of your life. If you do choose to move on, other relationships, or if you do choose to continue persisting and manifesting your SP, so it's not something that's constantly coming up to trigger you again, and so this person cannot be your invitation or your reason or your permission slip to fold into yourself and believe that you're powerless and worthless because an outcome didn't happen the way that you wanted it to. Not okay. So let's make sure that we have covered those bases before we get to questioning, is it this person? First, let's find out, am I good with me? Do I know? Am I solid in my self-concept? Am I solid in my concept of myself in relationships, in romantic relationships in general? And what is my reasoning for doing this conscious manifestation? What is my intention behind manifesting this person? And if my intention seems valid to me, do I see myself as capable of changing this story? Am I willing to forgive myself and this person for any past experiences and let them go and allow them to show me the new version of themselves without constantly jumping down their throat or constantly interjecting with the old story and therefore calling it to manifest? Am I prepared to let those old men die, the old version of SP and the old version of me who allowed the old version of SP, and am I ready to move forward? If all answers are yes, if all answers are good to go, then have fun and do that in whatever way you would like to do it. I have other SP manifestation videos that you can go and watch if you would like, that delve deeper in depth for specific situations with SP. I'm open to doing more now. I understand that it's relevant and I want to give you what you want, but I never want you to miss the true gems that come with understanding who you are, understanding your power, understanding conscious creation and how reality works. Because once you understand those things, it's like, oh, SP, that motherfucker over there, that's mine. He's mine, she's mine. It becomes like, oh, duh, what? I'm stressed over what? Stressed over who? That's my man. You're thinking about so many other things, about actually living out that fulfilling experience and enjoying it with that person and doing life together, rather than how many more affirmations or how many more nights am I gonna have to visualize in order to have this man here with me. None of that becomes the pinnacle of importance anymore. The pinnacle of importance becomes you. And if you hold yourself to that standard internally, if you put yourself on that pedestal, it doesn't mean everybody else is now below you. It doesn't mean your SP is now below you, but even the playing field, level the ground and understand that it's all available. You have complete freedom of choice, you have free will, and you are free to play. You're free to test things out. You're free to make things work for you in the way that actually feels good, and not because you think you're obligated to or because you did something wrong, and you no longer think that you have to give up because you fucked something up and now it's beyond repair. That's not a thing. It's not an issue. If you think that you said something to SP, you guys had a conversation that was just like relationship ending, it's done, it's dusted, never to be revived, you better start doing CPR, okay? If you are saying, okay, I want to move on, but you're struggling, you're still having thoughts of this person, you're still having thoughts of what could be, ask yourself, is it thoughts of what could be with this person? Or is it just thoughts in general of what could be if I was in the relationship that I wanted to be in? Again, that's a question you have to answer for yourself, but both are valid. If you feel like, okay, I can't stop thinking about them, okay, like I could see this working and I could see the good in them, and I know that they could see the good in me, and I know that I'm ready, and I know that I'm worthy, and I know that I'm available, so why not? Go for it. And if you think, you know what, they're cool, that's fine. Maybe they're for somebody else though, and maybe there's somebody else who's a little bit more aligned with me at this point in time. Go for it. It's totally up to you. But if you do feel like, no, I definitely don't want this person anymore, but I can't get them out of my mind, like they've attached to your brain like an energetic parasite, maybe it's time to maybe it is time to sever that connection. Maybe it's time to, again, release, let go, forgive them for what happened, for your part in it, for the whole entire situation itself, for all the pain that was caused, for all the seeming loss, and just let bygones be bygones, let them go on about their merry way and wish them well. Something I love to do. If there's any way that I ever feel slighted, whether it's by somebody I'm connected to romantically or just a person in my life in general, a friend, an acquaintance, a family member, any specific person, if I'm ever feeling like, oh, that didn't feel good, and I would have preferred you didn't do that. First of all, if I feel the need to speak my mind, I will speak my mind. I will never tell you that you should not do that, and I will never tell you that it will mess up your manifestation, because I would be lying to you, because I have done it myself multiple times and continue to do it, and I still get what I want. Just because you're manifesting something and it's out of alignment with what you are saying to that person in that moment in time, you are still allowed to speak your piece, do what you need to do for your well-being, and revise later, okay? That's how I feel about it, just to be honest with you. Though, obviously, when you're at a better place with yourself, you have a more expanded perspective and you are more easily able to step back into that observer lens. You're gonna be a lot less easily triggerable. Things are gonna happen and you're just gonna automatically be like, well, yeah, I see that story and I flagged that story and then I didn't get rid of it, I just let it sit there. You know what, maybe it's time to toss that one out. And then you just will. But at the end of the day, no matter what, no matter if it is a conversation that needs to be had, or if you're just willing to go ahead and let it go, forgive and let live, please send people off wishing them the best. Well, some people just think that they're spiteful by nature, but really they're just used to living that way, because I can tell you from personal experience also that I was a person who believed that I was slightly spiteful by nature. It does not have to be that way. It is a lot easier, and it actually does feel so much better, no matter what the situation is with any specific person, if you send them away with love and grace. If you say, you know what, bless you, I truly wish all the best for you, I truly wish all the healing, all the love, all the goodness that you could ever experience in your life, I wish that for you, I see that for you, have so much fun. Just because I wish that for you does not mean you need to be a part of my experience, but if it ever comes to that place or point in time where we do cross paths again, I will be able to do so with an open heart, with a blank slate, with not bringing excess baggage and carrying that around with me constantly because of something that I could have easily let go. And I can release myself from having to hold on to that story, and I can release that burden on you of having to continue to be that version of yourself when in fact you could go off and do great things, and I could go off and do great things, and we could do that regardless of whether or not we're in each other's presence currently. But if you do think you have a little bit of an energetic parasite, somebody who's like living in your mind rent-free, and you would like to evict them, then you certainly can. There's a thing that's very prevalent, especially in, new age, law of attraction kind of spirituality, that's called cord cutting. That is a real thing because there is an energetic link that you have to this person, especially if you've been in close proximity to them for an extended period of time. There is a connection there, there's a story there, there is a level of alignment there, whether or not it's misaligned with where it is you want to go. There's an attachment. And maybe it's not that that person is right for you, but either that person just has really vampiric energy, or it's that you are still seeking for the potentiality of that person, what that person could have possibly given you, and you're not yet ready to see that coming from somebody else. Now, I can assure you that whatever it is you see in them, if they're giving you a little bit like, do I actually want you? Like, especially if they're giving you the ick and you're thinking, well, maybe because I'm constantly thinking about them, I should just go ahead and manifest them. No, you are allowed to get a fresh slate, get a blank sheet, and get the things that you actually want. Like, actually take all the things off of your list and have somebody who meets your criteria now without you waiting, without you feeling like you have to try to push them to change. But hear me when I say this, the same way that you can do that for a blank slate, for a brand new person, you can also do it for that SP. The real question is, why do you want this specific person, and why couldn't it be somebody new? Is there a specific reason that you're holding on to for why it must be this person? And are you okay with that reason? Does that reason sit right with you? Does it actually make you feel good? If the answer is yes, go ahead, keep at it. Manifest a new version of them. If the answer is no, if it's like you're projecting onto them something that you're missing and you think that they are the only person in existence that could ever give that to you, that's not the truth. That's not the truth. It could be your truth because you're the one perpetuating it, but it's not the ultimate truth. There are multiple versions of multiple people who could give you fulfilling, worthwhile, romantic experiences, relationships, commitments, marriages, babies, family, whole nine. If you doubt that this is true, go into the theater of your mind, enter your imagination, and allow, instead of projecting onto the screen, sit in the movie theater and see what's on. See what's on. When you turn on that feeling, how would I feel if I had the relationship I want? How would I feel if I was with the person that I wanted to be with? If I was happy, if I was fulfilled, if I was living my life the way that I wanted to live it with the person I wanted to live it with? How would that make me feel? Get into that feeling. I'm sure it's something similar to unconditionally loved, very fulfilled, very safe, very comfortable, very harmonious vibes. Get into that feeling and go ahead and start off with your SP there. Go ahead and start off with your SP there. Visualize a scene that implies that you and your SP are happily living in the end. Then, once you're feeling good about that, replace it. Replace it with a celebrity. Replace it with a random hot man you saw at the coffee shop. Replace it with whoever, literally somebody you've never seen before, but just pops into your mind. And see if that feeling stays. See if you are able to maintain that feeling while seeing a different image. If it's still possible for you to feel your fulfillment in multiple scenarios. Because I'm sure that you will find that could be a truth for you. But if after doing that, you are still more in resonance with your original SP, and your question is not actually, should I continue to manifest them, but is it possible for me to see them the way that I actually want them to be and for that to be manifested for me? Yes, 100,000%. You should not give up unless you want to give up, unless your decision has changed, unless you want to explore different options. It should never be a question of capability. It should be a question of preference, a question of desire. What is it that you want? So if you want this man, have him. If you want a different man, have him. If you want options, have them. If you want to explore, you are free to do so. I can't make that decision for you. That is something that you have to make for yourself because you are the one who knows you best. It's either you or give it up to higher self and allow whoever is supposed to be there for you in your alignment, in your experience at the current moment, show up for you. But you do have to decide. So my intention with this video was to give you a overview of if you're questioning, if you're wondering, should I let it go? Should I move on? Should I continue to persist? That is something you have to answer for yourself. But my intention is that with this level of information, you will be able to make a more informed decision, and one that is actually truly in alignment with you and what you actually desire, and not something you feel like you must do, or if you don't do it, you're a failure, or it's never gonna work out, or you're just gonna have to keep perpetuating this cycle over and over again with different people. You hold the pen. This is your story, so you are free to decide. And I want you to know that yes, those possibilities do exist, they sure do, but there is a version of reality that has you at your best version of yourself, at your highest levels of fulfillment on the most consistent basis. And if you are willing to let go and let that version of reality be the one that you are guided to, and allow yourself to be led down that path, there is no other option but fulfillment if that is your choice, if that is your intention. So if you're willing to let go to that extent, if it's not so life or death, I have to hold on to this person and I want what's good for me, I want what is the best for me, then that is the path that I would advise if you're questioning. Because God, source, universe is not some separate entity. It's not something outside of you. It is you on a different level of consciousness, knows what is best for you, knows all the pathways to your fulfillment. So if that's your intention, you can literally just do exactly that. Send that intention up and just say, you know what? I am here for my highest levels of fulfillment. I'm here to be with a person who I know I am safe with, I am loved with, somebody who treats me the way that I want to be treated, somebody to be here with me having a worthwhile experience. Whoever that person is for me, I am open to seeing them, I am open to receiving them, and let that be what it is. And then continue to cultivate your own internal fulfillment, continue to reinforce your self-concept, know who you are, explore, play, live life, and feel good about what's happening for you. Expect goodness, expect love, expect things to work out for you. Assume it's already done. Thank you again to the lovely lady who let me use her as an example for the class. I will probably do a lot more videos like this of some of the longer winded comments that I get. Instead of answering them in the comments, I will use them as examples to be a teachable moment for everybody, because not everybody sticks around and sees all the interactions that are happening in the comments, and also just for time's sake, and so it could reach more people. And I just want to say a big thank you again for you guys as a community. You guys are so amazing. When people do have questions like this, when people are talking about their circumstances or how things are going in their journey and they're looking for advice, if I'm not the first person to get there, somebody else is, and you guys give amazing advice. I can tell that you guys are on it, you are here, you are listening, you are receptive, and I know that you guys are creating such amazing things in your life because you are literally like extensions of my consciousness. When I find one of those comments like that, when you guys are supporting each other in the comments and encouraging each other in the comments, it makes me so proud. It literally makes me so proud. And I'm like, this is why I do this, so that you can take this information and so that you don't have to be here all the time if you don't want to be, so that you can know and you can go and you can come back and you can help others and you can spread the word. That's literally what I'm here to do. Activate that remembrance and your consciousness of who you are, and to allow you to go forth living your life in so much more of a fulfilled state, with so much more wholeness, with so much more clarity, and to be able to have the things you want, make definite decisions about the things you want, and be able to be in the flow of life, knowing that that is exactly the place that you're supposed to be. That's actually the seat of power, your own awareness, your own lovely human imagination. You guys are so incredible, and I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. I love you so much. Let's wrap it up. All right, you guys, that's gonna do it for me today. I intend this message serves you well, and I'd love to hear your thoughts about it in the comments. If you're interested in working with me or checking out any of my other platforms, all that information will be in the description box below. And other than that, I love you all so much. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you next time. Bye.